A lot of people have heard about my Doom mod called the Sky May Be. That wasn't the only bizarre project which I had been working on. The
Oh,
other one was called Zero Gravity Doom, and it is what it says.
well,
I believe there was an early release of that. What I have done is I have taken the existing levels and one of the half-finished levels, which I've tacked on at the end, and I've just put together a little sort of playthrough for it.
okay.
And
Wait.
yeah,
Okay. So is this something you created like ages ago, or
yes,
created, or just worked on now, or?
ages ago. Well, actually, it was
Okay.
spread over a long period. I think the last time I actually made any modifications to the map was in 2000 or something.
Okay. So basically, we're going to see another one of your mods being played through.
Yes.
Ooh, you've given a one of those health power-ups right in the first level.
Yeah, you're gonna need
Oh.
it, or I'm going to need it rather, because I've been playing this. Um,
Okay. Dude, this is modern gameplay design. You're not meant to spell it out in classic video. Oh.
yeah, this is sufficiently bizarre that I felt it needed a tutorial.
This is very much Temple of Doom stuff here. Or no, wait, Last Crusade, whichever.
Yeah, Last Crusade.
Thank you.
The Orion project was an attempt to build a nuclear spaceship. What they wanted to do was explode an atom bomb underneath the ship. So we did something similar with this. We made
Whoa.
the rocket so that it fired a bomb out your butt, basically, in the hopes that the explosion would propel you around, and it does. The problem is it eats up your health like no tomorrow, because you basically just had this thing explode.
Okay, first of all, so you're saying that gun wasn't a teleporter, it was just a thing that blew your ass off?
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was like a teleport, and I was going, whoa, a gun that teleports, I've always wanted. But no, it's that spaceship that basically... Okay, I'm getting it. You fire it, and it basically shoots yourself forward as the shell. It's a gun where you are the bullet, effectively.
I suppose in principle, yes.
Well, yeah, a gun...
But,
Yes. In Russia, in Soviet
Yes.
Russia, the gun shoots you.
that's...
Oh dear gosh.
in Sky Maybe, we actually had this fancy graphic for it, and that was actually for this. I'm not sure whether it was even intentional that we had
Okay.
the Orion project device as the rocket launcher in Sky Maybe. It may have been an accident.
I
It may have
remember
been an
reading
accident.
about the Orion thing. The idea was that it propelled you forwards purely... Ooh, nice.
Now,
You were propelled forwards purely by nuclear explosion.
yes. Now this is one of the problems. If something below you gets in the way, it stops you.
I still don't quite know what's going on. It seems like there's a great big battlefield and you're hovering...
Over it, yes.
So wait, where are those barrels spawning from?
Now that's something that took me a while to understand. I think what I did was I made the blood into a barrel which explodes. I suspect it may be a side effect of the rocket launcher modifications. Either that, or I was just doing something bizarre.
I mean, this was entirely unintentional? You made them bleed...
I was designing this in 1995. I can't remember what I was thinking.
You made them bleed explosives?
Yes.
Okay.
It may have been a last-ditch attempt to get the gun working, because we had endless problems with
I
it.
can't imagine.
It works very well for killing people.
Yeah.
You can get them to bleed; they will die.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, in more ways than.
but we had endless difficulty getting the Orion project device to actually fire properly. I think we were trying to I think we were trying to do a reactionless thrust thing, and eventually we concluded that the only way we were going to get any thrust was to explode something behind the player
Whoa.
and send them forward.
Yeah, I remember reading. That is insane. They bleed explosive. Yeah,
Yes.
like I said, I remember reading in a sci-fi book about it. The idea was they set off a nuclear bomb, propelled the spaceship forward on the thrust of it, and ironically, even Tintin and the Moon, they had an idea of a nuclear-powered spaceship, but not quite like that.
Well, it was there was quite a lot of let's use nuclear energy to go into
You
space.
drive cars at one stage. This is in the Fallout games a lot, the nuclear-powered cars, although I don't think you ever drive them. Okay, so in this case, you've got a weapon that does the exact same. Basically, it's like a horizontal rocket jump in a way. Wait, this is before.
Yes, it is really. I hadn't thought of that analogy, but it's a good one.
Thank you. Yeah, it's like. I think this was I'm not even sure if this is before Quake or anything, is it?
Difficult to say.
Wait a sec.
It was probably during, because this thing has had a long gestation period. It was probably being worked on around the time when Quake was released, after Quake was released, and possibly before Quake was released.
I understand. So basically, you had the idea first. Full credit goes to you. You should seek royalties from ID. I get you. Yeah. Okay. So I noticed you can even get damaged if you shoot them and they bleed explosive barrels, and you get. Here's the question: if they get damaged by an explosive barrel, do they bleed?
Not sure. I can't remember.
I think you just got destroyed by one of the explosives.
Yes.
Because the question is, and I wasn't sure if it was happening there, were you shooting a guy causing explosive barrels, causing them to bleed another guy, causing more explosive barrels?
It's possible. One of the other failed experiments that never made it into the Sky Maybe's engine was the multiplication bomb. And that was quite a laugh. And what happened with that was that when you fired a rocket, when the rocket exploded, it generated these little puffs of something. So what we did was we made them turn into more explosions, and it just...
Dude, that's...
Oh, I remember what we did now. We used the pain elemental thing. It when it explodes, it spawns 3 lost souls. So we used that to spawn explosives instead.
Okay.
But we made it each one of those then spawn 3 more. So it sometimes crashed the game solid. And when it did work,
that's how viruses are made.
I think there was a finite limit of how many lost souls could be spawned in the game anyway. Even when it was working reasonably stably.
There is a limit, it's called memory limitations, but go on.
I think there was actually a fixed number, like you could only have 16 of them or something.
Isn't that buffer overrun?
I'd have to look at the code and see how it was implemented, but yeah, even when the multiplication gun was working really well, it had this horrible tendency for the explosion to come towards you. I think it was part of the lost soul seeking mechanism or something. So it tended to kill you, and we scrapped it.
Okay, so back to this anyway.
Yeah.
I noticed it actually happened there. You were dealing with a group of crowds, you shot some of them, they had explosive barrels. That harmed more, they dropped more explosive barrels. You basically started up a enemy explosion chain reaction.
Yes. That wouldn't surprise me at all.
I like the way you do it.
Now, this was a horrible bit. When you get stuck, you can't move, and that's kind of why we invented the Orion project device, to try and be able to kickstart you.
Yeah, let me explain this. The way the zero gravity works is that you can't drop due to gravity. Yet for some
That's correct.
Yet for some mysterious reason, if you're on a platform that's moving down, you will move down with it.
Yes. Now,
Which
I'm not wholly sure why that happens. I did have a theory behind this, but I've forgotten what it was.
I think I already know. If they did it on gravity, then there's a risk of a jerkiness that would happen.
Yes, it was probably something like that. Either way, it's clearly designed into the way the lifts work.
Yeah, no, I've seen some games. If you're on a lift and it's going down, it's like the lift goes down and then you have to catch up with the lift, so you drop down a bit, and it's all very staggered.
Yes.
Okay, so you're at 5% health. Okay, that's not the best. You seem to spend a lot of time walking around the floor, even though most of the time you could probably just float a tiny bit off the ground and not get injured.
Yes. The fact is, if you remember the tutorial video, the thing is, once you're in the air, you can't do anything. You can't turn around, you can't steer. You keep going until you hit something.
Oh! Well, you can't even turn?
Nope. Well, yes, you can turn around, but it won't stop you from heading in the direction you were heading when you left the ground.
I didn't really know that. Oh.
Yes. In a way, it would have been nicer if I had arranged a video where you could play this yourself, but I didn't think of it.
Okay, well, always good for next time. You know, okay, so basically, the mid-air physics, the engine basically thinks you're falling, even though you're not falling.
Yes. No, it's worse than that. I'm not completely sure what it is doing, because I'm pretty sure that you could steer yourself into when you were falling.
Okay. This is all.
I could be
this is all
wrong.
very weird. I don't know.
I can't remember. Either way, when you step off a cliff in this, you end up moving in the direction which you were going when you stepped off.
Exactly. So your movement vector is completely stuck.
Yes.
Okay.
Unless you use something like the Orion project device to give yourself a push. Which it does, but it maims you in the process.
Okay.
Ah, damn it.
Oh, I see, this is...
Oh no, he did get it.
Nice. The Gantless? Did that say Gantless?
Yeah, this is just one of the stock Doom 2 levels. This is not. This is the unfinished one. I suspect that the levels we've seen up to this point have seen some kind of release, because I did put out at least one version of the Zero Gravity Doom project.
Okay, so this is going to be a sneak preview.
This, yeah. Well, I don't think I'm ever going to finish it. Frankly, this is sort of a. You may have noticed that thing killed you while you were in God mode. That I think was what gave me the idea for some of the nasties in Sky Maybe. Now, in this one, I decided I wanted to make Pac-Man.
Oh dear gosh. You demented.
So I got the little I got the little health bonus things to float.
Okay.
And I think the idea was that I was going to try and engineer it so that you could only survive if you had maximum health. And presumably there was going to be some kind of pit or something to strip your health from you before you entered the maze. But basically the principle was you had to go around this maze snarfing up these little bottles until you had enough to win the level.
Oh dear.
But unfortunately it was never finished. Like I say, I think the last time I did anything with this was in about 2000, 2001 or something.
Okay, so there's nothing in this room, for instance.
No, there's nothing in that room. One of the weird and wonderful things I did build was a fan system, which was supposed to blow you through the tunnels.
Oh, nice.
I think we get to see that later.
Wait a sec. How come that using the Orion thing isn't killing you right now, or even taking?
He's been put into God mode for demonstration purposes.
Okay. All right, of course.
Basically, this didn't really have any health in it aside from the health
I
bottles.
didn't notice his eyes.
And yeah, and this is basically just a tour of the unfinished level, which is why it has this enormous empty space here, because I didn't finish building the maze.
Empty spaces. It's like...
this is the fan.
That seemed less like the fan than a bunch of people shooting you or
Yes,
something.
but the end result is that you get blown down this corridor.
You use recoil from people shooting you as a fan?
Yep.
Oh dear gosh.
The problem was trying to get the ducts in
I'd hate to
position
see-
so that you went
I'd
continuously.
hate to see you design a ventilation system. Oh, I love those effects. It's so hilarious.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
So
when they draw.
you can see the sort of W-shaped thing there on the map. The idea was that you would have this sort of cute little ride where you got blown down the corridors. Obviously, you needed some kind of invincibility sphere or something to make that happen, but I never did quite get it to work because I had to adjust the angles so that they couldn't see each other. Otherwise, if you could see two of them at once, either they'd started shooting each other or both of them would start shooting you, and weird things would happen. Now, I have absolutely no idea what that thing is.
Yeah, it seems, what the heck is it? It looks like one of those things, but...
Oh, of course! It's... you're bleeding, that's the problem.
Oh.
Yeah, I think
Who's
that
shooting you?
I think that may have been the one of my attempts at making an improved blower.
Okay. I still don't quite know what's going on. I see a lot of guns. Is he shooting you?
He
that
is
pinky
shooting
thing
you.
shooting
Yes.
He doesn't have a gun. How is he shooting you?
He opens his mouth and bullets come out.
What is he, the mask? Evil mask? I don't know. Okay, this is all very weird
Yes.
and unsettling. I'm not even sure.
Yeah. Oh.
This is like some weird surrealist nightmare or something. I don't even.
That sounds like a good description of some of my Doom levels.
It's like it's designed to remove all sense of sanity from your being.
Yes.
You say that like it's a good thing.
Well, in a way, I guess what I always wanted to do, what I was trying to do with the Sky May Be, and arguably succeeded, was I was trying to make something that was utterly unique and completely different to your run-of-the-mill Doom levels. Of course, the problem is they were a bit too different, and they really freaked people out.
And I assumed that, and you feel like, and is that a good thing?
It's kind of sad because my brother was a real hotshot level designer for these, at least before he finally got bored with it. But I did upload a collection of his levels, and I've never heard anyone who's played them. Everybody remembers the Sky May Be, which was this weird thing I made just on a laugh, more or less. And then he built these beautiful levels and no one's ever played them.
Aww. I'm sure someone's played them, maybe. But yeah.
Maybe I should do a video about Kanzam's trial.
Maybe. That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah,
Actually,
some Let's Play or something.
Oh, cool. That sounds like a lot of fun. And remember that time even we bumped our mutual friend Shax? He said I said, hey, have you played The Sky May Be? And then he said, yeah, I remember that one. I said, look, this is the guy who made it. And then I pointed to you.
Yeah. I don't actually remember that, but it's the sort of thing that would happen, and then I'd sort of shrivel up in embarrassment.
Yeah. I remember thinking, he doesn't seem to be taking all the credit that you'd think he'd be due from something like this.
Yes.
Okay, pleasant.
So yeah, that's it. My failed attempt to make Pac-Man out of Doom.
you know, I think it is. I think it's hilarious. I think it's fantastic. Oh.
That's all, folks.
Indeed. I suppose it is. Well, thank you for showing me.
Thanks. Now I'm saved from the trouble of having to figure out how to write a commentary for this.
Anytime, Tape. Anytime.